After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Build Connected. I'm Adam.
And I'm Pace.
Thanks for joining us again for another lovely podcast. It's a beautiful day here in San Anselmo, and Pace, you're up there at your home office in Petaluma. It's a little hotter up there. Doesn't it get hotter? Sun's blaring. Summer's here.
It's warm today. It was warm yesterday. We're at 80 degrees. I mean, it's really nice. I'm
I got
happy.
my above ground pool open now. It's ready. We're ready for the summer.
Now, is there like a 24/7 keg of beer next to the above ground pool?
We get the remember in college, did you drink those? Who made them? They were like they're like beer balls.
Beer balls.
Beer balls.
Coors made them.
Yeah, that's what we drink.
Yeah, we call that Pedro. We called our beer balls Pedro. Here's just a random question. How many old tires do you have in your yard?
Oh God, I can't even count. It's just it's a yard of tires. Yeah. You can't even see the grass.
That's good. You never know when you're going to need one.
Yeah, thanks. Well, you're really honing in on the white trash pool thing that I have going on. You know, it's
Love it.
really nice back there. I built a nice deck around the pool. I bought this thing on Amazon, 25 feet by 12 feet. It's a big pool, but man, look, it's nice. I mean, it's cold. We don't have a heater, but on those 100-degree days, whoo, baby, it is nice to jump in there.
Of course, I jest. I mean, it's great to say that you're like our white trash wonder.
Oh,
The home's
well,
beautiful.
okay. I'll take that.
You take a little bit of Walmart and you gussy it up, and the place is looking great.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Pace. Moving on to the beginning of our podcast, where we're going to discuss a product. These products have been around for a while, but I came across this one and I thought it was great. Something that I think would be really well utilized for everybody. I'm going to tell a little story first because I want to tell a story, and you're a story guy. This won't be one of your long, boring main stories. Don't worry. But I got a buddy of mine who has a house that had carpet in the bathroom when he purchased the house. And, for a while, they've been wanting to tear that carpet out because it's nasty. Who puts carpet on the floor of a bathroom?
When I bought my house that I live in now, the master bathroom had carpet, and it was the first thing we did. The week before we moved in, we tore that all out. We tiled it. I don't know what people were thinking.
I mean, you got kids, right? You got a 4-year-old kid. He's learning how to aim. I mean, you're probably still learning how to aim. I don't know.
We learn every day.
You're getting older. You're starting you miss, The toilet overflows. I mean, gosh, need I say more? What are you doing? The toilet overflows and you got carpet on the floor of your bathroom.
You move.
Anyhow, they finally took the carpet up off the floor, and the subfloor was gross, right? But they also found there was I guess at one point there was a slow leak around the wax ring of their toilet, and it had disintegrated the plywood. So, obviously they had to redo all the plywood work in there. But that brings me to this cool product, which is a wax ring leak detection product. And, I wish I knew who made it. I don't know the manufacturer of this, but if you look it up online, you'll find it. But it's kind of an all-in-one product. They provide you with the wax ring and this plastic piece that sits on top. And there's basically a wick that runs around the perimeter of that wax ring. And then the end of the wick, you fish it up through, when you secure your toilet down, you've got your bolts that stick up. And this wick just kind of feeds up where that bolt comes out. And then this little battery with a little alarm beeper thing slides over the bolt. And the wick kind of, attaches to that. And when the wick senses water, it creates that alarm sound, and it's hidden underneath the white bolt cap that you see on your toilets anyway. Great product. Seems like could save you some headaches down the road. Anyway, I thought it was a cool thing. That's my product.
It's interesting because that ties into this whole suite of of detectors that you can place around your house. You know, you can throw one under your kitchen sink, right? To find out, it alerts you as soon as you have a leak under your sink. Once we had Wi-Fi in our homes, it opened the door to a lot of these technologies, you know, whether it's a security camera or it's a leak detection device or being able to control your thermostats from away. Um, Wi-Fi opened the door to a whole number of things that we now just kind of take for granted. But before Wi-Fi was, prevalent in our homes, we didn't have any of this. And there's such peace of mind, you know, you're whether you're on vacation or you've got like I don't know, a second home, right? The fact that you can monitor all these things and be alerted as soon as there's a problem, man, there's a lot of peace of mind that goes with that.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, yeah, I mean, it's been a while. We've had Wi-Fi for a long time. I mean, if you go back to when you were a kid, those are the days where I think you had to wind up the phone, right? And you had to talk and then put it up like this. Wasn't that that's what you had when you were a kid, right?
That's right.
Those are
That's
the,
exactly
as
right.
my kids call it, the horse and buggy days.
Yeah, well, that's when I got to high school. Before that, we didn't have phones. A few weeks ago, we were talking about organization, and I brought up the file tree. I think you asked me a question about, you know, how I organize my emails, and I was talking about a file tree, right? And this we are revisiting an old project that we did. We're doing something new for the client, and I was kind of scouring a bunch of old emails. And man, without my file tree that I established, not only by job, but then within that job by like sub trades, finding the information that you and I needed would have been just an absolute nightmare. And so it's worth talking a little bit more about that idea of a file tree. I use it for my emails. So like each job has its own folder, and then within that folder, it's broken down by various topics. You and I also use that as our company sort of storage structure, right? You and I use Dropbox, and within Dropbox, we've got it organized by project address. And then this was your idea many, many years ago. We have what we call the Bible underneath each of those projects. And the Bible is organized the same on every job, right? We have folders within that address for things like plans and permit. And then by each, subtrade. So like Windows has its own folder, Doors has its own folder, foundation work would have its own folder. And it's just a very structured way of storing your information. Here in California, one of the newer regulations is at the end of every larger remodel that we do, we've got to deliver a house manual. And the structure that we've created in that Bible translates directly to that home manual. So each of those subtrades, right, would translate to a tab within our binder. The new homeowner inherits their house when we're all done. The manuals will be broken down by plumbing, electrical, what have you, and it just makes our life so much easier. We start the organization early, and it translates through to something that we deliver to the homeowner.
Yeah, I believe on my computer it's the New Testament, and on yours it is the Old Testament.
The jokes, they just keep going.
Oh man, that was too easy. Yeah, it's it's good. It's good to be organized. Yeah, being that organized, it's important because you never really know when you're going to have to go back and look for some specific piece of information. You just don't. I mean, it could be 5 years, even 10 years later from a project, and you might get a call from a homeowner because they have a question about, hey, what was the warranty on this product? Or, I need to get a new one, but I need some more details on this. And we can just go back into that Bible, into that New Testament, and look up that specific product or information because of the way it's organized. So, you never know. Okay, well, thank you for talking to all of us about our organization and how we keep things neat and tidy in folders on our computer.
I mean, listen, it's as boring as can be, but it makes it so much easier to run an efficient business. It saves you so much time in the long run. Like I say it 100 times, organization is the key to running a business.
I appreciate it. I got a quick little nap in, but now I'm back. So I'm going to talk about I'm going to piggyback on something we talked about on our last podcast. We talked about the service that we provide to potential new homeowners and real estate agents, where we will do a walkthrough with them and be able to provide them rough pricing, look for things that are important to fix now or later. Anyway, you've all heard this if you're listening to our show, so I won't go back and repeat. But look, as a homeowner, maybe you don't have the knowledge that somebody like Pacer or I have acquired over the years, right? So what do you look for? What's important? And I think, for us, the first thing that we look at is the topography of the property, right? Does the house back up to a hillside? And if it does, how is the water coming off of that hillside? Is it coming into the house? Does it look like there's French drains around the house? Do they look like they're beat up? You can just use kind of common sense when you look at that kind of stuff. And if there aren't any there, you might want to go down and maybe look at the crawl space or look at some area of the house that kind of back up to that hillside. So I think these are a starting point for a homeowner to really take into account when you're looking at a home. The other thing, and look, these are just a couple of not small things, but these are just a couple of items. There's a long list of things, and I won't get into all of them, but I think these are some quick key elements you can look for as a homeowner looking at a house for the first time. The other is electrical panels, right? There are particular panels that the insurance companies don't like, and they want you to switch those out. So use common sense when you open up that panel. If it looks like an old panel, you're probably odds are good you're going to have to replace it. And while you're in that panel, look at the breakers. If you see the main breaker, if it's not doesn't have the number 200 on it and it's less than that, chances are you're going to have to upgrade the service too. All of our projects that we do now, right? We want 200 amps coming to the house. All the new stuff that we have in our kitchens and car chargers, it requires more power. And typically these older homes, they have 100 amps coming into the house and it's not enough. So you'll have to deal with upgrading the service. And then another big one is the foundation, right? Just walk around the foundation. If you can handle it, get into the crawl space and bring a flashlight in there and just take a look, right? Is it all in one piece? Do you see any big cracks? Is it deflecting? Meaning, does it look like it's kind of rolling over at all? And if you see a crack, it's not always worth freaking out over, right? It could be a minor crack. And, I think for us, Pace, when we see even a larger crack in a foundation and there's no deflection, we would just say, observe it over time. And if it changes, then deal with it. And even dealing with a crack isn't that big of a deal. Now, if you have multiple cracks and you're dealing with more foundation, then it gets expensive. But, these are all important things, right? Are you on a hill? Your electrical, foundation, kind of three kind of key items to look at.
Yeah, let me pan out if you will. Like I think most homeowners already have some built-in things they're looking for, right? And so what we're doing is we're adding just a different lens to look at as well. So most people when they're buying a home, right, if they have kids, they're looking at the school district, right? They're looking at what are the amenities in my area? Is there a grocery store I like? What's the culture like? Can I go see a movie? Whatever, right? That's like a starting point. So once you find the area that you're in, you're comparing homes within that area. For me, there are three things that I'm always looking at. The hillside one, 100%. Like building on a hillside creates so many challenges. All the ones you said, right? The water management, access, work becomes more expensive. There are a number of things that make hillside living more challenging. There's usually the advantage of a view, but just that's one thing to consider. The next one for me, and that's I wouldn't have said this before I moved to California, but just the access in and out of my house, its proximity to like um like trees and like a consideration on wildfires. It's so important here. And it's becoming more and more important, across the country. So just how the neighborhood is managed, from a fire risk standpoint, I think is really important. And the last one to me, which to me is like the basis for making a assessment of a house, is the previous owner. How well did they maintain the home? Usually you can find out by looking at the paint job and the roof right off the bat. So if a previous homeowner took well care of their home, it's a good sign it's going to be a good home for you. If there's signs of neglect, chances are you're going to have more work in the short term, right? So maintenance from a previous owner. And it's funny, like real estate agents never want, for very good reason, they never want the current homeowners to be there, like at a home showing, because they've got so much invested. But you can really take away a lot from just looking at the maintenance of a house.
Yeah, I mean, the paint can be a tough one, right? I mean, I wish we could buy houses as a contractor before they get painted. They're real good at covering stuff up. But yeah, the roof is a good one too. I mean, usually it's disclosed how old the roof is, but that's a big ticket item if you have to replace the roof right away. So, and then I
I
mean,
mean,
for
that
you,
I was just going to say maintenance goes beyond those couple of easy ones. You're right. A lot of people who are trying to sell a house will put a quick paint job on. So a lot of times you can't really see that. But just looking around the yard, like how things are maintained, you can get a big picture view of just the care. Like if someone's cared about their house, chances are you're going to inherit a good house.
yeah, I mean, for you, you're probably looking like, is it wheelchair accessible? Is there a stair chair that can carry me up the stairs? Right? I mean, these are things someone like you might find important, right?
It's interesting. This is like life is a boomerang, right? Time comes for all of us. There's going to be a day when you're wheeling yourself up to your front door and you're going to think back on the things you've said to me.
Oh man, that stair chair is gonna be great. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Anyway,
right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Another great, fun episode. Adam's jokes aside, thanks for joining us. I'm Pace.
and I'm Adam.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.